Shavkat Rakhmonov is the first Kazakhstani fighter to sign with the American Ultimate Fighting Championship UFC promotion. When he was younger, he was a simple loader, but he had dreams of winning the championship belt, so he trained hard and went for it, even when no one else believed in him. He showed that anyone can achieve success, even those who've had a tough upbringing. I am Kazakh, my father is Kazakh, I was born in Uzbekistan. But many people ask me a question about my nationality, because my name is Arabic, Shavkat. Rarely Kazakhs have such a name. My grandfather's name is Rahman, but in Uzbekistan, instead of it they wrote, oh, it turned out to be Rakhmonov. The incredible biography of Shavkat Rakhmonov began on October 23, 1994 in Uzbekistan. The future fighter was born and grew up in the vibrant Surkhandarya region of the country. In the lively town of Shirki, he was born in Kazakh family. Shavkat was a real competitor on the playground. He was into all kinds of sports, from football to boxing, and he loved nothing more than coming out on top. The future fighter, he said, was brought up on the street, so he often fought, and he was not afraid to fight back against the older guys. Shavkat was inspired by the incredible fights of Fedor Emelianenko and Mirko Filipovic, decided to follow in their footsteps. He faced many trials on his journey to success, but he remained determined and focused. At the tender age of 16, the boy's family embarked on a new adventure as they relocated to the exotic country of Kazakhstan, where their relatives were waiting to welcome them. However, some of them were a bit more challenging, but that just made it all the more satisfying when they finally folded. The dynamic Rakhmonovs, eager to make their mark, embraced every opportunity, even if it meant learning a new language. Shavkat was eager to help his parents, so he jumped at the chance to get a job as a simple loader at the market. At the same time, he started practicing combat sambo, boxing, and pankration. He was so determined to give his all at work that even if he was absolutely exhausted, he'd still make it to training. In his heart, Shavkat was set on becoming a champion, and although a few people doubted his chances, he was determined to prove them wrong. At the age of 19, Shavkat moved to Kokshetau, where he started training with coach Bain Jongalov and later entered the Faculty of Physical Education and Sports at the Koksha Academy. October 2014, he was happily signed to M1 and entered into the lineup for a major tournament in Russia. His opponent was Adam Sarov, who came close to being guillotined at the start of the round. After spending some time on his back, Shavkat escaped perfectly with a sweep and got to his feet. Surov went for the clinch again, but was caught off guard by a counterattack. Shavkat went for the armbar, gracefully getting into a triangle to secure the first victory of his professional career.
Triangles are very, very good.
Great awareness there from Shavkat.
And
He's got him.
He taps.
That was one.
A month later, Shavkat came out to fight Marcus Vinicius, who had 6 wins and 7 losses. The bass guitarist sprang to his feet and started a lively dance with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Then, with a swift and decisive move, he hit a hard left lateral and started throwing punches. Kazakh fans were on the edge of their seats. But at that moment, the referee decided to bring them to their feet. At that moment, Shavkat turned on. He absolutely owned his opponent, tormenting him with non-stop position changes and a relentless ground and pound. The Brazilian showed incredible resilience, enduring for a long time, but ultimately, the fight was stopped after unanswered punches from the back mount. His next fight took place in Orenburg, Russia. In the 57th M1 Challenge tournament, he faced Bartosz Hirik, the world karate champion. Yes, Bartosz apparently decided that wrestling was his best chance against Shavkat Rakhmonov. However, Shavkat is a jiu-jitsu master and he feels right at home on the ground. He tried to twist the heel, but quickly gave up on this idea and tried again. Shavkat remained as calm as a boa constrictor. He simply waited for the right moment, and waited. As soon as the pull made a mistake, Shavkat seized his opportunity and did not let go. Inspired by his success, Shavkat returned to the rage just 2 months later for the Battle of Nomads tournament in Astana. Michael Vinchek arrived boasting a 5-2 record, but was caught in a guillotine hold after just 49 seconds. This victory remains the fastest of his professional career, the ruthless Kazakh. Shavkat was out of action for several months due to injury. In April 2016, he appeared in one more tournament. In the main fight of the evening at the Battle of Nomads, he faced the much more experienced Adil Borambov from the Alash Pride team. A slow-moving pace in the fight exploded from Rakhmonov. Soon he was active again and picked up his leg, and instantly got out behind his back, but he slipped and had to wield from the bottom until the gong. Shavkat used his anthropometric advantage well, and tried to keep his opponent at close range, but Borambov still found an opportunity for a transfer. However, Shavkat didn't stay in debt, and after a minute he exchanged his opponent's passive control for his own dominance. Rakhmonov then spent the next 2 fights abroad. First, he traveled to Azerbaijan, where he met Marcelo Brito of Brazil, who had previously fought for the M1 belt. Shavkat, who earned the nickname Nomad there. He gradually built up a tonnage of punches. Eventually, his opponent couldn't take a punch to the liver, and the fight was called off.
Nice body shot. Oh, that hurt his liver. That hurt his liver. It's over. Wow. It was a liver punch. The liver punch put him on the...
It looked like a simple punch, but it folded Brito in half. He went on to South Korea, where he met Park Kun-yen, a local fighter who is now known for his successful performances in UFC. At the time, however, he was just starting out and had a 3-2 record. The Korean immediately went in for a wrestle, but Rakhmonov was ready. He tried to close the guillotine and, a couple of seconds later, had already transitioned to an armbar. There was one more guillotine attempt, but Park managed to avoid trouble and won the first round by working from the top. Shavkat was much fresher in the second round. He emerged victorious from the clinch and secured a dominant position on his back. He spent 30 seconds finishing the choke before the Korean finally gave up. Following that fight, Park gave up his 7-fight winning streak and signed with the UFC. But Rakhmonov's career took a turn for the worse. Although everything was going well at first, he soon got a shot at the M1 title, but a knee injury sustained during training put him out of action for more than a year. He only returned in February 2018, after 18 months without fighting. His opponent was Levan Solodovnik, the vice MMA champion of St. Petersburg, who turned professional at a relatively late age. Solodovnik didn't linger in the striking range, instead trying to get into the clinch. Rakhmonov took advantage of this, manhandling his opponent twice. However, he also had to defend himself. At the end of the first round, he threatened with a triangle that abruptly transitioned into a leveraged elbow. In the second round, Shavkat dominated from the top, only giving away position once after closing with a triangle. His spirited opponent was patient for over a minute, but still tapped out 20 seconds before the gong.
There we go.
Shavkat Rakhmonov!
After this fight, Shavkat returned to Kazakhstan to face a serious challenge. Faridin Adilov from Tajikistan, who had won his last 7 fights, was waiting for him. During the first round, the two fighters exchanged punches and takedowns with little regard for controlling their position. The second round was more interesting. Adilov suddenly found himself in a dominant position. In his usual fashion, Rakhmonov began to look for a way out of the clinch. He almost got a Kimura, but his opponent escaped with dignity. Unable to find any other way out, Adilov decided to try investing in hand strikes, as it seemed that the only way out was to land a lucky punch. The initial blows were not successful. However, the second attempt was successful, and overhand hit Rakhmonov, knocking him down. This was the first time this had happened in Rakhmonov's professional career. The whole arena fell silent, then started to buzz. By the time the gong sounded, Rakhmonov seemed to be barely hanging on. After the bell, he crawled to his corner. The home crowd started chanting his name, encouraging Shavkat. And third round, Rakhmonov was transformed. He showed good takedown defense, started hammering Adilov by chasing him inside the octagon, and performed an excellent takedown. Shavkat participated in the third round for the first time, earning his 9th career victory and receiving the exclusive battle of the Nomads belt. The second bout between the undefeated Shavkat Nomad Rakhmonov and the WEF's #1 Ryanitsa Yakubov lasted only 1 round. Unfortunately, the Kyrgyz fighter's leg injury prevented him from continuing the fight. Shavkat Rakhmonov thus secured his 10th professional victory. While Nomad was winning in Kazakhstan, drastic changes were taking place in the M1 welterweight division. Champion Alexei Konchenko signed a contract with UFC, leaving the championship belt vacant. In early 2019, reports that Rakhmonov would be fighting for the M1 championship belt in a tournament in Almaty dominated the Kazakh sports news. His opponent was Danila Prikaza, who had eliminated all his previous opponents and was on a 5-fight winning streak. Shavkat immediately took control of the space and pace of the fight. Danila was not going to give up, sometimes bursting forward with blows from a comfortable distance. And yet Rakhmonov's pressure and anthropometry were not a strong burden for his opponent. At the beginning of the second round, Shavkat closed the distance and quickly took down his opponent, taking the guard position. After working from there, the Kazakh fighter increased his aggression. He began to hammer Prikaza's head into the canvas with powerful punches. And there it was, the moment Shavkat Rakhmonov had been chasing. With the M1 championship belt wrapped around his waist, the MMA world took notice. Headlines were buzzing, and right next to his name, the letters UFC started showing up more and more. He was already on the radar of the biggest fight promotion on the planet. They offered him fights in the Czech Republic, in St. Petersburg, but Shavkat, he wasn't in a rush. He wanted to defend that title on home soil in Kazakhstan before climbing the mountain again.
No way.
And man, when he did, he came ready for war. On June 8th, at the tournament in Nur-Sultan, Rakhmonov faced Thiago Varião, an experienced Brazilian who had won 28 fights, 23 of them by finish. Plus, he had a height advantage over Shavkat, so it was a serious challenge. That crowd was on fire. You could feel it through the screen. He fought this Brazilian striker, Thiago Varjo, tough guy, real Muay Thai background, and just dismantled him. First round, Shavkat comes out calm as hell, like a damn Terminator. Picks him apart with jabs, cracks him with a liver kick that echoed across the arena, and cuts him open with elbows in the clinch, surgical violence. Forget it. Shavkat spins a kick right into Thiago's ribs. You could see the pain on his face, like his soul left his body for a second.
His legs have gone! That was a solid shot, and now he's looking for the guillotine.
Then boom, right hand, left hook, drops him, follow-up ground and pound. Just nasty. Ref jumps in, man, it was beautiful. Smart, technical, ruthless, Shavkat looked like a future champ. And the scariest part, he didn't even break a sweat.
As he turns into him, he goes for that whizzer again. Big, solid ground and pound.
Shavkat Rakhmonov, this absolute savage from Kazakhstan. July 31st, 2019, he signs with the UFC and becomes the first Kazakh fighter to ever do it. First ever. But here's the thing. This wasn't just some paperwork behind the scenes. Nah, the guy earned it in blood.